Welcome back. When I first saw this film I took a chance and watched it before I knew anything about it. My interest was piqued by Brigitte Bardot appearing in a movie I hadn't heard of. While I wasn't a fan of Bardot, there was something about it that seemed very different, and once I began watching I was captivated. Not just by Bardot, but by everything about the film. It's from a director I greatly admire, telling a really powerful story, and is beautifully shot in black and white. It is Verite from 1960. In the late 1950s, the film's director Henri Georges Clouzot epitomised studio filmmaking, a style dismissed by François Truffaut as the tradition of quality. Truffaut openly suggested that Clouzot his time had passed, that his films were no longer relevant, and at the time, on the cusp of the French New Wave, many agreed. An important element of Clouzot's past successes had been his wife Vera. Vera met Clouzot through her then husband Leo Lepara, who had minor parts in Clouzot's films Quai des Orfèvres from 1947 and Return to Life from 1949. Vera subsequently agreed to work as a continuity assistant on Clouzot's 1950 film Miquette before they married later that year. Clouzot named his new production company Vera Films. She appeared in only 3 films, all directed by Henri. In 1953's The Wages of Fear as Linda, a role Clouzot wrote specifically for her. In the 1955 classic thriller Les Diaboliques, co-starring Simone Signoret, and in Les Espions in 1957. While Vera didn't appear in La Verite, she co-wrote the screenplay. Clouzot conducted background research for the film, attending trials and researching a number of female criminals, including the notorious Pauline Dubuisson. The young, beautiful Dubuisson was sentenced to life in prison in 1953 for murdering her lover, a fellow medical student, after he dumped her. While she never denied killing him, she maintained it was an accident and had attempted suicide. While Dubuisson had been branded a murderous slut, her exceptionally harsh sentence provoked outrage and attracted a lot of public attention and sympathy. These events found their way into the film through Bardot's character Dominique. The story strikes an unusual balance between the disapproval, the hypocrisy, and the resistance to change of Clouzot's generation, and the fascination with modernity and the new, freer way of life of the younger generation, whose ambivalent attraction is perfectly embodied by Bardot. La Verite marks a shift for Clouzot. Most of his earlier films had been adaptations of text by male authors. This film was made from an original screenplay written by a team that included 4 women, including his wife Vera and the feminist novelist Christine Rochefort. This dynamic explains La Verite's sympathetic and sensitive treatment of Dominique. This approach is enhanced by the fact that Brigitte Bardot was a major source of inspiration for the character, albeit in ways that were not entirely positive. Jean-Paul Belmondo, Jean-Pierre Cassel, and Jean-Louis Trintignant were all considered for the lead role, but Trintignant was Bardot's choice, but Clouzot decided to cast Sami Frey. The production took place in challenging times. Philippe Leroy-Beaulieu, one of the male leads, was fired during shooting and later sued the producers for 300,000 francs. Bardot's husband, Jacques Charrière, had a nervous breakdown and was hospitalised for 2 months. Vera Clouzot had a nervous breakdown in July. In August, Clouzot had a heart attack and filming was suspended for a week. Bardot's secretary of 4 years sold secrets about her to the press. There were clashes between Bardot and Clouzot, including when he slapped her to make her cry on screen. She slapped him back, then he deliberately trod on her bare toes. During filming, Bardot had an affair with Sami Frey, which resulted in the breakup of her marriage. In September of 1960, Bardot had an argument with Charrière and then attempted suicide by slashing her wrists. Vera died from a heart attack shortly after the film wrapped, and Clouzot fell into a depression that lasted many, many years. The chaos of this time, rather than derailing the film, seems to have given it an edge that flowed through into the on-screen performances. The film feels really raw, and watching it you feel your sympathy switching between the characters who are at opposite ends of the on-screen conflict. It's quite incredible and something that I've never experienced to the same degree with any other film. It is exquisitely shot in black and white, and the framing of the story around a courtroom drama allows us to travel backward and forward in time via vignettes that are inspired by the evidence being given, and this is incredibly effective. When the film was made, Bardot mania was in full swing. She was the most famous French woman on the planet, in huge demand in the film world, and had every detail of her private life, especially her numerous relationships, in the public domain. Bardot's image as an emblem of youthful rebellion offered Clouzot the chance to be recognised as a modern filmmaker, a way of defying the new wave cinema that was all the rage with its rejection of classical French filmmaking. Cleverly, the film plays on Bardot's reputation in a way that would have been powerful at the time of the film's release and is equally effective today. The film was a massive box office hit in France, Bardot's biggest ever success, and the second most popular film of the year, coming in behind Ben-Hur. Films and Filming said it was the most popular foreign language film in Britain for the year. The New York Times said probably no film in recent years has been subject to so much advance attention. 2 years in the planning, 6 months in the shooting, sets sealed to the press, and all culminating in the suicide attempt of the star Brigitte Bardot. The public has been told that Clouzot was turning Brigitte Bardot into a real actress. The Los Angeles Times calls the film an amazing picture, a tour de force from all concerned. It is at once immoral, amoral, and strangely moral. The film was nominated for the Academy Award for Best Foreign Language Film in 1961, but lost out to Ingmar Bergman's The Virgin Spring. Somehow, like I suggested at the start, this is a film that doesn't appear on many great movies lists, and it really should. Now, I'm going to give you just one reason to watch this film. It's Brigitte Bardot at her absolute best, which is really something to behold. So what I'd suggest you do is that you go to our virtual screenings page, find the link to this particular film, click on it and watch it, and as always, see what you think, and we'd love you to come back, share your thoughts about the film with others, and whether you'd recommend it for them also. And then we'll see you back again in the not too distant future for our next Classic Films review. See you next time.